Geraldo Perdomo is going to be a part of the Arizona Diamondbacks for a very long time, and you know that makes this man happy. We're talking about his contract extension and so much more on this episode. Don't you guys go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. Of course, welcome in. This is not the D-Backs podcast. This is the Geraldo Perdomo podcast.
Love it.
We are the hosts of the Geraldo Perdomo podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. This man next to me, Damon Dog himself, and the founder and proprietor of the Geraldo Perdomo fan club. Of course, this show is also brought to you by our friends at Waymo, which I will be taking to go watch wrestling here. It's about, 6 blocks away. There's no way I'm walking, and I'm definitely going to take an autonomous riding vehicle in order to get there. But thank you to Waymo for making that possible here. We're special here in Phoenix. We get Waymo, but we're more special here in Phoenix because we get Geraldo Perdomo. That is right. News broke. We talked about it on Monday where we were like, Jerry with a doctor's appointment on day one. I don't believe you. Well, that doctor's appointment turned out to actually be something that was taking place. It was Geraldo Perdomo in an MRI tube getting a physical because he received a contract extension with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Per the John Heyman tweet, I know Jeff Passan was early in on this as well. But per the details of this tweet, Geraldo Perdomo will get $45 million over 4 years starting at the end of 2026, and it will keep him around. He has a signing bonus of $5 million, and the money kind of escalates at $5 million in 2026, $8 million in 2027, $11 million in 2028, and $13 million in 2029. So that's the rundown of at least the guaranteed money. There's a club option for 2030 for $15 million.
Sorry.
There's a three. No,
all right. I asked for it. So
we got it. We need more DJ Airhorn for that. That's our captain, as everyone here says. That is our captain. Put the C on his jersey. What were your initial? How did you sleep that night finding out this information?
Yeah, so I had a bottle of champagne in the fridge, and first thing I did is I just shook that guy up, went on my third floor balcony, and just kind of just let it rain champagne down on my fellow apartment.
Were you also the streaker? Was that also
that was me. I was also the streaker. I went up to Talking Stick to the facility, took all my clothes off, ran around a little bit.
Good way to celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess initial reaction was just like, I love this organization really because I think that all the reasons that like I love Geraldo Perdomo, why our fan base loves Geraldo Perdomo, and it's because of his leadership and the intangible things that he brings to the table, and I think that. It was just number one reaction is like it's clear as day that like Torey Lovullo, Mike Hazen, everybody in the front office sees the things that we see, talk about the things that we talk about, and they love Geraldo Perdomo as much as we love Geraldo Perdomo. And like I do feel like that there are other organizations that maybe would have been like, oh, but we're more numbers based, and we don't believe in him to up his power numbers to a level that we need to have them at for us to feel comfortable with Geraldo Perdomo being a like starter night in, night out. I think there's a lot of teams that would hypothetically shift towards Jordan Lawlar being the future of that position, right? If they had an in-house solution like that. But the Diamondbacks are like, no, this is Torey Lovullo's son, and he will be on the court. He will be on the field at all times.
That's exactly. I mean, that's how it's like. I've talked in the past about how much of a pleasure it is to watch Ketel Marte play because of the amount of joy that he plays with. I feel like Ketel does the same thing, right? I feel like Jerry does the same thing. He just plays with a lot of joy. He's just one of those people that makes like it feels good to be around him.
For sure.
He's an excellent baseball player.
And that's like a media thing too.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. Like he's just, and I've always been very understanding of the media's relationship with players. And when you talk about, because Mike Hazen brought it up, and we'll have video here shortly of it, but he brought up, Geraldo Perdomo holding people accountable, including Mike Hazen. He's held us accountable. He's held us accountable when we panicked because we thought Geraldo Perdomo was going to be traded. He saw what we said, and he definitely had some jokes for me for sure. But we do have Mike Hazen, in fact, speaking about Perdomo quite a bit. Here is what Hazen had to say about the deal and Perdomo in general.
A very exciting day for us today. The opportunity for us to extend what I think is one of our best baseball players, keeping him here for our team and the city. I know how much the fans truly respect and appreciate the way he plays the game. We feel the same way. I know I can speak for Tori on this. The way he plays the baseball game is the way we try to play the baseball game, which is smart and fast and dynamic on both sides of the ball. And I think he represents what we want to be as an organization and as a team. So I'm extremely happy to be able to announce this today and open for any questions that anyone has.
Man, what he says there is so true, right? Because when you think of Diamondbacks baseball, you think of Geraldo Perdomo when he's being successful, right? The guy that said that his favorite place to be in the world is down 0-2 in the count, right? That guy, right? That's his favorite place to be.
What a sicko.
What an absolute sicko, right? But I mean, yeah, like, the numbers, you brought this up the other day. You kind of joked about how it's going to make some people sick when he does get the contract extension because of that lack of slug and stuff. But you can't really equate everything that he does. You can't, not everything is tangible. Like you said, not everything is statistically going to impress you. I mean, he still had a 273 batting average in 2024. He did so much, in that ninth hole. Mike Hazen talked about just his ability to turn, how important he is to Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte to turn the lineup over to them and get on base and have somebody on base for them to have an opportunity to score. There's a lot about Perdomo that there is to like. You know what I mean?
I want to take the time here, and Derek, I think we should have done this off the top. Elise in the chat today.
Hey,
Elise, thank you for signing this extension. Obviously,
we appreciate
we know
you, Elise.
Either Elise is Mike Hazen or Elise is in Mike Hazen's ear. But we know that she's calling the shots no matter what.
Look.
So just wanted to say shout out Elise for inking this extension.
All I know is one of the two of them are sleeved in tattoos. And it might be both of them. It might be the same person. I don't know. But this is exciting. And I mean, I think, again, there was something about doing this for someone like Geraldo Perdomo. We have talked. We spoke about it the other day, right? You have Gabby Moreno, you have Zach Gallen, you had other players that have been the subject of fans and reporters wanting to know more about them getting an extension.
Yeah.
Gabby especially, right? He's a big part of the future of this team. He's a guy that I think a lot of people are excited about that potentially happening for, right? But Perdomo, I feel like, again, it just says something to the other players on this team. He's not exactly the guy that was at one time viewed as an all-star, at one time viewed as the future shortstop of this team. But he earned that role through his leadership, through his ability to play defense, just through everything that he brings to this team. And I think that's, I guess it's the adage of hard work pays off, right? Like if you can literally, and this isn't a huge contract either. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I'm fine with this deal for what the Diamondbacks spent. And I'm good with the length of it. I think that, you would like to see sometimes a guy like this, maybe get longer. But like Mike Hazen brought up in the press conference, this gives Perdomo the chance to still be at a young age and explore free agency. That's something that this organization has been very, I guess, like supportive of for players. Like they tell players, go out, find your worth, and they've been successful in bringing guys like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. back and Randall Grichuk back, right? So like, the ability to go out there, know what your worth is, and still want to stay here says a lot about those players. But it also says a lot about this organization that they support that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, Geraldo Perdomo this is a very earned contract extension just based off of all the things that you noted that he provides to this team. He's the ultimate glue guy.
He is.
Like, I think that's the best way of
the
talking
heart
about
and the soul.
Yeah, for sure. That's some people may call him that.
That's what I've heard.
But yes, he plays a premier defensive position. He plays it at a high level. I don't think last year was his best defensive season. He was better in 2023, but I think a lot of those mistakes were avoidable, and I still trust him. I have a lot of confidence in him at that position moving forward. And then, as you noted, like he's just I always say it, like this is the term I always use, but he's the table setter of this team. He gets on base for the top of the lineup when you need a top of the lineup to bat a guy on base who's in scoring position in, right? And he's so good at finding ways to get on base, whether he's getting a walk or poking a single in a different direction. Not always hitting the ball the hardest, but
Jerry in the ninth hole was like a secret formula. It wasn't even something that felt like it was planned as much as it just came together, and it ended up being the best because typically, right? Like you have one of your worst bats there. You don't have a guy that you think of being
me and Jesse would get into it all the time, right? Because I would be like, he's the best 9-hole hitter in baseball, and Jesse would be like, that's not exactly saying a lot based off of the fact that 9-hole hitters are typically not your very good hitters.
Right.
But like, I just think that the guy, he does everything that you would want in a second leadoff man. And that's just find any way possible to get on base, take tons of pitches, make the pitcher beat you. I think he does that at an especially high rate. Like, the pitcher has to go out there and beat Geraldo Perdomo because he's not going to beat himself.
Yeah.
He's swinging at stuff in the zone. He's taking a lot of pitches. He's fouling off a ton of pitches. Like,
he's relentless. And
he is relentless.
Then if he gets on base either through a walk or a poke single or whatever he does to get on base, now you have to deal with Corbin Carroll. Now you have to deal with Ketel Marte. Like, that lineup turns over and things get dangerous very fast. There is a lot of speed there. And I mean, again, it's just, it changes the dynamic of this lineup. I think also we saw last year how bad this team was without Jerry P, right? Like, they did their best to kind of overcome the loss, but when he went down to injury, it showed how valuable he was to this team, and I think that's been the case for quite a while now, right? But Hazen discussed Perdomo's character, which something we talked about the other day was important for this clubhouse and for this organization, and he also talks about almost trading Jerry P and us never getting to this wonderful moment. This is what Hayes had to say.
The way he prepares and plays the game, and we've known him since we got here in 2017. I'm very thankful that Amiel didn't let me trade him in 2017 for John Jay. I did not, but he told me not to. It was on the table, and Amiel said, no chance, you can trade Perdomo, and I said okay, so we didn't, thankfully, and he's still here because of it. But since that day, he's been our future shortstop in so many different ways, and I'm very appreciative and thankful that that's come to fruition, and now it's going to be for an extended period of time.
He almost did what for who? At what time? He almost did what? Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to hear that from Mike Hazen and for him to be honest about that. I know that Hazen has been a great GM in regards to discussing what he believes are his failures and his successes for this team. And I think that that's something for him to definitely feel like they made the right move about. Connor is absolutely right. Connor says even more reason to love Amiel. No, you're not wrong about that.
Your new best friend.
Oh, my new best friend. Yeah. I mean, I almost had to thank him when I saw him the other day.
Didn't you say that he, like, when you introduced yourself, he was like, I've been waiting on you to.
Well, I mean, look, Jesse is much more, he was the face of the operation, right?
For
so
sure.
now I have to go around and do the work.
You're the face
here.
of the garage.
Yes, exactly.
Of
the garage. This is the garage that I podcast out.
Every time, like, this is an obligatory thing at this point. Every time John Jay gets mentioned, I can't help but be like, you know, John Jay's dad was a drug lord. It's crazy.
It's a fun side story.
It's insane.
It really
the guy's
is.
name is it's either Justo or Justo Jay, which is pretty electric.
Yeah, that's pretty electric. Not nearly as electric as Perdomo in general, though, right? We talked about his leadership skills. We've talked about, why he's so valuable to this organization. You guys have brought it up in the chat. again, it's not quantifiable. It's not things that at all times are going to be able to you show, I guess, to people why he's so valuable to this organization. When you see him in the clubhouse, when you see him, just be himself around with the team, you can see why he brings so much joy to this team. Think back to last year when Jordan Montgomery, who was brand new to this team, discussed Perdomo returning and like the comfort of having someone like him there that was a new relationship, and he was still very appreciative of what Perdomo does to kind of back up a starting pitcher and be out there with him, make them feel like they're not on that mound alone.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly the guy who's in the pitcher's ears the entire time he's out there.
Yes.
Like, I think that, there's playing baseball, like there's always a guy on the team who is just very vocal at all times. And Perdomo has really taken it upon himself to be that guy, I think, right? Because he sees value in it, and he knows that, maybe from like a at the plate standpoint, he's not doing, if he just was what he did at the plate and he did nothing else outside of the fact, I don't think that he would be highly valued, right? Yeah. He knows that his value comes in on the plate from being, a good base runner, a good defender, the vocal leader, the captain, right? Like those are things that Perdomo is. I think he's very like self-aware of who he is as a baseball player, and it leads to him being that kind of vocal leader and captain of the team. The D-backs have never had a guy with a C on the chest.
They're calling for it. They want the C on there.
I think it'd be like a universally loved thing in this fan base if he was the first guy to ever get that.
And on the team, like, it is well known. And I've said this before. The one thing that I think being around baseball players and athletes made me realize is that they're human beings. And just like at work, sometimes there are people at work that don't want to be the manager. They don't want to be a leader. They just want to go to work and work. And that's the same for athletes. And a lot of guys do want to be a leader by example. They want people to want to emulate them. They want to have success, that people want to follow them and follow their lead, but they don't want to be that actual vocal leader in the same way that someone like Perdomo is.
Yeah.
And according to Mike Hazen and everyone there, he's always been this way. This is what Hayes had to say about Perdomo and his leadership.
We saw it in the minor leagues. We saw it. I remember going to Kane County, and I remember seeing him play in Kane County. I think it's innate. I do. I think it's something that he's very comfortable with. I don't think you can throw leadership on certain people, and whatever that leadership means. He's just always seemed very comfortable speaking his mind, being honest with teammates, with us. He calls me out all the time for things that I'm not doing well, and we appreciate that about him as a player. And as a person. And I think that's something that definitely exists within our clubhouse and has since he was a rookie and beyond.
I really want to see video of Geraldo Perdomo calling Mike Hazen out on anything. That would just be tremendous. But yes, no, that's what he brings, right? I mean, he does that for his team. He does that for everybody. Like I said, he even does that for this podcast at times. He came up to me and wanted to know if I was actually a fan of the Amarillo Sod Poodles, the Saudis, when I was wearing one of the hats. I think he was going to be like, name the whole roster. Like, he was about to be like that. Oh, you're a fan of them? Name them. All of them. Every Saudi in history. But no, I mean, he's just a great dude. And I think that, he's always talked about being very appreciative, and like having, this financial security and having this, I guess, now this longevity with this team, the ability to stay here for a while, has always been kind of a dream of his. But here was Perdomo first thanking the organization for this deal. And
it's gonna be so wholesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's get your tissue box out. Here's what Perdomo had to say.
I just want to thank you, to the organization, Ken, Derek, Mike, for the opportunity, for this big day. For my family. I'm so happy for what they done for me. The manager too, every coach I have put a little bit of effort since I was 17 years old. It was special. So I'm a little bit nervous, but any question?
I got a question. Why are you so wonderful? You know, how are you so great?
That was like the positive version of Kelly from The Office. Being
Yeah.
like, yeah, I have a question. Number one,
how dare you?
How dare you be so wholesome and
Yeah.
and put a smile on my face all the time, Geraldo?
I mean, yeah, though it's hard to remember sometimes that some of these guys are still so young. And when he started talking about, obviously, the crediting his coaches, crediting everyone that got him to this point, like it makes you realize, like, again, he is just a very appreciative person for the opportunities he's been given. But he also, talked about this being his dream. Like, he always wanted to play for one organization. He also talked about possibly being traded. Here's what he had to say about, the organization making his dreams come true.
We discussed it a couple times, yeah. Like a couple of years ago, we talked about it, but I'm glad they didn't trade me. I was joking with those guys about it.
Even kind-spirited and joking when it comes to trading him and changing his entire future trajectory. Amazing lad. He's an amazing lad.
He is amazing.
Well, and I think, again, there's something to be said about what this does for younger players in the organization, just everybody, right? Like, I know it's this might be a little, little sappy, but I mean, it does set the right tone that, like, this organization, yes, they're going to go out and they're going to get their Corbin Burnses. They're going to do things to make this team better. But if you are part of the core of this team, like we've always thought Geraldo was, then that's going to be rewarded. And they're going to try to do their best to keep that core together. That core consists of guys like Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo. And I mean, even, the outfielders, Lourdes Gurriel, I know Alec Thomas has been a part of that as well. You got Jake McCarthy. Like, these are the guys that you feel like could be Diamondbacks for years and years to come, and just could be part of that winning kind of, tradition where, like, this organization kind of always is, playoff in the playoff mix and always a contender.
We talked about it on Monday, but I think it's clear as day that this organization values character and, like, chemistry way more than your average MLB franchise.
Sure.
Like Geraldo Perdomo, the Diamondbacks look at him and say he's worth way more to us than he is to a different franchise because we love this guy. And it popped in my head right now, Derek, and I'm sure you'll agree with this and everybody else can get behind this. But I feel like Perdomo is the type of guy, and maybe he ends his career somewhere else, whatever, but he's the type of guy where I think he needs to be a part of this organization. Like, I know he's 25 and there's a long way to go.
Oh, you're talking about, like, future, like when he retires, maybe some sort of
job for life.
Yeah, president of the organization takes over for Derek Hall.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. He needs to be around this facility on a daily basis. They need to keep him in the building because he understands what it's like to be what it means to be, I guess, like an Arizona Diamondback baseball player.
Right.
It means everything to him, and I feel like he will always value this organization, always value, the things that Tori and Mike and whatnot have done for him. And, I'd love for that kind of vibe to just stick around this facility for years and years and years after the fact when his career is well over and done. But we got a long ways before that happens.
We do. We got a lot of playing days to go. And hopefully that we get more, from Perdomo next year. We get a fully healthy Perdomo, for 2025, and we get, the best out of him because, honestly, his career trajectory has gone up. He had a 3.5 WAR last year with playing, only in 98 baseball games.
Yeah. It was like, I'm looking at this here. He has a 0.6 B WAR and 500 plate appearances in his first season because he struggled a lot that rookie year, right?
He was hit below 200.
He was 23 years old. Like it's understandable. Then in 2023, 2.3 B WAR in 495 plate appearances, and then 2024 had a 3.5 career high B WAR in less plate appearances in out of his 3 MLB seasons. So yeah, you expect that to hopefully continue that positive trajectory, and if he can stick around like a 3+ WAR player, I mean, he's doing his job.
Yeah. I have said it before and I'll say it again. I will let Mike Hazen general manage my life.
Yeah.
Because this man knows what he's doing. Not everything. You can't win every single time. Yeah. Not everything can be a complete success, right? But when you take a look at extending Corbin Carroll before he wins his Rookie of the Year season, you take a look at the contract for Ketel Marte, extending Ketel Marte. You take a look at extending, Geraldo Perdomo now. we talked about it at length. Ketel Marte would have been a free agent this past offseason, and the amount of money he would have gotten after his last 2 seasons would have been astronomical, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the best move for Ketel, but he's happy here and doesn't seem to mind that at all. And he still has the ability, like Hazen said about these other players, to have his free agency period to get that potential big payday, or at least to explore that option.
And what can you do in baseball? It's not like you can like hold out for like a contract renegotiation or something. It's not like the NFL.
Yeah, no, regard. I mean, it's pretty much just playing out your contract and waiting, trying to hit free agency as early as possible. That seems to be, again, the big reason why we have guys that hit free agency and then suddenly command much more than even a contract extension would have provided, right? At times, you just kind of want to have the future secured as a player. Can you imagine any of you here in the chat live right now just being told that you're going to get $10 million every year for the next 4 years? I think you'd kind of like not worry about money anymore. Like that would be the least of all managing your money. You got to get a money guy at that point. You got to get somebody to do the paperwork and stuff because you don't want to deal with that, trusts and stuff. It's a lot. But I will say financially, you're going to be pretty secure. So I think that even though at times athletes could get more money, there's something to be said about just the security and not having to worry about that so they can concentrate on the thing they want to concentrate on, which is ball.
Yeah, definitely. Elise put up earlier in the chat, I don't know if you saw, she said that Perdomo will have the Gonzo role.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I mean, her being so matter of fact with it is like,
it's already been promised to him.
Yeah,
maybe it's in the contract somewhere. We haven't gotten the
this
details
has been
on that.
talked about. This has been talked about for sure.
Yeah. Now Elizabeth says I'd settle for $10 million for just 1 year. Same. If anybody wants to offer me that, get at me. Cap_caveman with a K.
I heard that's how much they're paying you at your new job, Derek.
Oh, I have so many jobs now, Damon. Please don't start with that. But we will talk more about at least Geno trying to steal my job as a reporter here on the other side of the break. Don't you guys go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, it is that time of the year. There are so many events going on. I was telling this man, I'm so busy. I have so much stuff going on. It's all like the same week too. But one great way to go see all of this fun stuff, including these concerts and events, shows. I got AEW tonight, is to get your tickets through Game Time. Game Time offers you the best pricing for last minute tickets, especially if you are a procrastinator like me. They also have their Game Time picks, which help you get to the good tickets faster. It's their curation process, makes it easier to find the best value for tickets, sports, concerts, and so much more. They also have their all-in pricing feature, which allows you to toggle what all the fees and everything are going to be, so that way there's no surprises when you check out. And I love that because I don't like surprises at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest priced, guaranteed. Well, we talked about Waymo earlier. Waymo, I mean, again, we sounded a little bit like jerks the other day, but I think we're unapologetic about that. I don't want to talk sometimes when I get a ride. Sometimes when I get a ride from any kind of, from anybody, I might not be physically capable of talking. You know what I'm talking about. So great way to get from where you're going to where you want to go.
Not only just that though, Derek, but like a lot of times I feel like it's like at the airport and stuff that I'm getting ride shares. And it's like, I just got off of a plane. I'm surrounded by people. Yeah. The airport is like a weird place. Like, I just want to sit in the car and just go on my phone.
And Waymo has drivers that will not talk back to you.
Last airport trip I had, I tried to get a Waymo, was unable to do so. Shane and Bo actually got Waymos back, and it was I'm sure their rides were incredible. And my guy was in my ear the whole time. Where are you coming back from, sir? It is 1:30 in the morning.
Super Bowl. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. I can't wait. Right, fully autonomous ride with no human being behind the wheel. And we are one of the lucky cities to have Waymo, including San Francisco and Los Angeles, which they accomplish about 150,000 trips per week across those 3 cities. Download the Waymo One app right now and ride today. Well, like I said, you talked about, Geraldo Perdomo's future job, right? And I like people securing their future jobs. I just don't like it when it's at risk of me losing my job. You know what I mean? Like them replacing me. And I'm not going to say that me and Geno look alike or bring a similar energy. I'm just going to say that I have a feeling you could replace me tomorrow with Geno, and not a single person in this chat would miss me, Damon. Not a single person. They'd be like, Derek, who? Right?
Just Damon and Geno.
Just Damon and Geno.
Yeah, sure.
He won't put his hair back in a ponytail. It'll just be out and flowing, and he'll just be on here riffing and just asking questions from players. And there's a really important reason why I bring this up. Geno tried to just butt into our press conference and get in on the questions with Mike Hazen. We got video of it.
Geno.
Hey, Mike, good morning. How you doing? I got a question for you.
Yes.
What is the means to you have Perdomo for a long time now? What does that mean to you, to the organization?
Are you auditioning for a future career?
It's a lot for me.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yesterday, nobody knew about what was happening, but Geno kept coming over to the field, and he happened to be standing in front of me. He's like, "Where's Perdomo? Where's Perdomo?" And I felt like he was going to keep doing that, so I called him over and I was like, "Listen, can I trust you with a secret?" And he said, "Yeah, what?" And I said, "Perdomo's in an MRI too right now." He's like, "Oh no, what happened?" And I was like, "Nothing's bad. We signed him to an extension." So he's ready. He promised me to keep a secret. But then I told other people I told you that, and they said, "That is the worst person you could have tried to trust a secret with." I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Don't."
Nobody knows.
We said it this morning. You kept it. We appreciate that. It is very important for us to keep Perdomo here. He's part of the foundation of what we're trying to build, and we know how much you guys respect him as a teammate, and that's important to us too.
Derek, I would feel threatened if I was a reporter in that situation, standing around there getting that kind of answer out of Mike Hazen after a question.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting around going, my job is on the line.
And
I'm
just
feeling
casually, he's gonna go do he's gonna go run and do batting drills and bunt drills.
He's about to go hit it 400 feet like 10 times.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's crazy. So he can do both. But
Has Geno done the Waffle House challenge?
That's a good point. Has Geno done the Waffle House challenge? Is he man enough? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Only he could if he lost his fantasy football league. But I will say this when it comes to, once again, Geraldo Perdomo, and then we can kind of move on, even though I know neither one of us want to.
No thanks.
He talked about, that what they're trying to build, right?
Yes.
That foundation, right? And that's the wildest thing about this team was 2023 changed so much so significantly just because of the early success that they had, right? You know what I mean? But if you kind of swap, and I know this is a futile exercise, but if you swap the two seasons, everything is all of that makes sense. They went from here, they finally had a winning season, then they won 89 games, and then they go on to, the World Series. The Diamondbacks are on a great trajectory, but the reason why they are is because of the fact that they built this team with that young core that I was discussing earlier, right? And again, at adding to it and being able to try to make it better or bringing in pieces, the way they brought in Corbin Burns is the key to success. Once you've established who your core is and who you can build around, then that next step is bringing in those players that can help you get to the ultimate goal, which is winning a championship. It feels like this team, as crazy as it is, it has built it the right way, both with the promotion of internal players, the way that they have brought these guys up from the minors and then kept them here and rewarded them with these contract extensions. And again, the additions that they've done, even the ones that didn't work out, like adding Jordan Montgomery last year, right? Everybody understands how that went. There's no doubt about it. You also can't say, though, that this team was attempting to do that and attempting to bring in, again, one of the best pitchers on the free agent market and try to make this team, that contender for the championship once again. Yeah,
no, I think that you say that it happened in such a drastic way where they became the contenders essentially, or that the expectation was contention, right?
Right.
But I think that this team they're built for it a little bit. I think that they have great mentalities, and obviously last season didn't go the way you wanted it to, but you improved upon the previous season's win total. So you were on paper probably a better baseball team. It just you caught fire in the postseason last season, had some luck go your way, but. I really do, in a weird way, Derek. I don't know if you agree with this, but I think missing the playoffs could be good for this team. I think it could have provided some extra motivation going into this offseason of hey guys, we cannot miss playoffs again.
You're not. You and I are so on the same path with that. Like, because right? Like the expectation was that they would get back to the playoffs. The expectation that they would have success once they got there.
Yeah.
It proves nothing is guaranteed in this sport. But more than anything, we talked about this on Monday. It gave Torrey so much ammunition just for coaching and mentoring and using that season as an example of how, despite this being a 162 game season, the longest season in all of sports, that it still shows every single game matters. And I mean, again, he's always been good about trying to keep these players positive and always saying the flush it stuff. And like, you got to flush these and move on, and you got to do this and that. No, every once in a while you need to not flush it. Every once in a while you need to sit there and stare at the Braves and the Mets hugging on field. Every once in a while, what you need to do is let a loss or, coming up so close but so short but still falling short, you need to let that sink in and really affect you, right? Like, impact you. And I think that you're absolutely right. What happened this last season will forever. Like I said, Torrey will forever use it as a teaching example. He won't even be a manager anymore. And he'll just be like, remember that one time? Remember 2024? Here he goes again. He's going to tell us how every single day matters. You got to put in the most effort every day. He's never going to let that one go. But there's talk about me growing my hair out. I don't think you guys want that. I just got a haircut today, and I'm trying to not let those things happen. No more purple hair, because that might be the end of my hair as we know it.
If Derek had the ability to have Geno's hair,
oh god,
I think you absolutely would.
I'd never wear a hat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Would you do the multicolored thing he used to do?
Yes, I absolutely would.
Half natural, half blonde. That was the coolest hair ever. That's when things were good in Seattle. Yeah. Things were fun.
I would curl it. I would get one of those like Dyson, wand things that make it all like big and flowy.
That would be pretty
sweet.
Sweet.
Have big hair.
Oh yeah.
Fabio style.
Big hair and a big personality.
Well, I will say this. Kevin Ginkel, we know how he fires us up. We know how he feels about everything in life at times. He might have given the Dodgers maybe some bulletin board material, but I don't give a damn, because inject this directly into my veins. He was talking to Bob Nightingale. This is what he had to say. He said, every time we play those guys, I feel like they can be beat. They're deep, but with the guys we have and our pedigree, just get us into the postseason, play those guys in the best of 7, and I'll take our chances. Fire me up.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, why can't I use curse words on this program? Because I just want to scream F-bombs right now. I love Kevin Ginkel. He fires me up, man.
Here, Damon, I'm going to mute everybody. You can do everything you want in 3, 2, 1.
Was that good? All right. Yeah, we got it.
That was good stuff.
Oh, that felt good.
That did feel good.
That was cathartic. I love it.
It's just different. It's different in front of a camera with a mic in front of your face.
It is. It hits differently for sure.
But he's right though. Like, that's the mentality to have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, get us against them in the postseason. We saw what happened last time. And guess what? When they're in the postseason, who's the pressure on?
Yeah.
The team that has a $1 billion payroll on the other side that signs all the best free agents, trades for all the players that are their parent team maybe isn't going to be working on an extension with them for, and the Dodgers are like, we'll give them an extension, we'll trade for him on the cheap. Like they have all the pressure on them. The Diamondbacks know that they have all the pressure on them, and I think it's you gotta put that pressure on them for sure.
There's some discussion about whether or not we were actually muted or not.
You guys were.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Shane. Just want to make sure we didn't cross any lines that might get Damon in trouble. It was not me. It's Damon. Damon's the instigator here. No, but yeah, I think like Eduardo Rodriguez brought it up about playing in the AL East, and I think that when I heard him say it, he's right. Like, really what it comes down to is those guys are the best players. Fine. Those guys make a ton of money. Fine. But today, are you going to beat me today? Are you going to beat me in this series? Don't forget what the Diamondbacks did to Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts in the playoffs and how they held them in check. So again, it's just really about this team and I think their ability to beat the Dodgers. That feels like that's what they've kind of been put together to do. Also, they're always going to be the underdog. Like, I mean, there might be a point where, you know, they start getting some, you know, maybe some steam behind them and maybe people start talking about them a little bit more. But no matter what in this division, they're like, I can't imagine a time where we're not going to be the underdog to the Dodgers in the National League West. I mean, we could have a 10-game lead on the Dodgers in the division and people would still see us as the underdog.
And they probably should.
Because
I've seen that plenty of times before where the Diamondbacks have an early
especially
2-month
April,
lead.
May.
Yeah, exactly. And then
it's a nightmare.
it falls off a cliff. SMX, I don't even know. I don't know what the name is. This guy's clearly Dodgers fan. Last time, buddy, someone's threatened to jump in our pool. Didn't end so hot for him. Garrett Stubbs is unemployed. I'm just kidding.
He's not wrong.
He's the best mascot in baseball. He'll always have a job.
He really is. He'll bounce back. I mean, he does that. He has the long tube and the tongue thing that he does. Anyway, I will say at the end of the day, I don't really care about giving the Dodgers bulletin board material because they already have plenty. They have plenty. They have so many beefs in the streets.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about Diamondbacks when what Kevin Ginkel's saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the whole baseball world is against the Dodgers right now.
It really
Everybody's saying stuff about except the media. The media loves the Dodgers and blames everybody else for the way that the Dodgers free agency is played out. Does that piss you off?
Well, no, I'm glad you said that because Rob Manfred brought it up yesterday, right? Because they had their media day here in Arizona. And Rob Manfred addressed the Dodgers. And it's kind of funny that the guy who is in charge of the system was like, you got to blame the system, not the Dodgers, right?
That's insane.
But he is right? Is he not wrong?
He is.
He is not wrong when it comes to that. The system is what the problem is, not what the Dodgers are doing.
That's the Garfield meme where they have the cancel Garfield in the background and Garfield's just in front going like this.
Look, I'm
just nonchalantly having no idea that he's talking about himself.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We're
Rob
all looking
Manfred?
for the guy who did this. We're all looking for the guy who did this, right? No, I mean, this is like when I play Monopoly, right? It's within the rules for me to go around and buy every property. And there are people that think that that's not the strategy to play. And then they lose to me because I dominate the board and I will spend every dime investing it in real estate just for you to land on my hotel and go broke. That's the name of the game. The name of the game is decimation of your opponent. And it's the same in baseball. Like what they're doing is, again, it sickens me to defend the Dodgers. But what they're doing is within the rules of the stupid system that has been set up by Major League Baseball.
In the same vein, Derek, I've won Monopoly based off of vibes before.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And that's what the D-backs are. That's what the D-backs are doing.
Yeah,
vibes.
I bet you get a lot of like trades where you like swap with people.
No, you know what I hit people with? You don't want to do that because that works too well. If they still buy Boardwalk or something, they'll still be thinking about what I just said. About three turns later, they're like, "Why did he say that?" I don't know, and I don't even know why I said that.
I'm just in their head now.
I do have to I agree with. At the end of the day, I do agree. It's like, yeah, the baseball allows the Dodgers to do this, so of course the Dodgers should do this. They're a well-run organization that does things in a way that at least in the regular season leads to winning, right? But I guess the thing that bothers me is like all the baseball media people, like the Ben Verlanders of the world and the Dallas Braidens of the world, and the guys that have platforms that go out there and they use their platform to then like they crush all the other owners across baseball instead of being like, hey, this system is messed up. They say like, the Dodgers are doing things the right way and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it's like, dude, I don't need to hear that right now. I don't. Like, I know it. We all know it. They're the best team they have been for a decade now from a record standpoint. Right. But it's like, the
point about it is parity. And the fact is that teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers, especially now the Dodgers weren't this well run when they weren't run by the current front office and ownership group, right? Like this team is a completely different team since Frank McCourt owned it and was basically dealing with a divorce and not paying attention to his baseball team, right? But there is a lot going on, now with this team and the way that they're doing things. And again, you can't really blame them. All you can really do is say, this is going to get to a point where it's going to be so outrageously unfair. And something has to be done. And other leagues, other sports have found a way to at least have it seem fair, even if it's not, right? Like There's the fact that some organizations are just going to be more historically important. So players are going to rather play for a Dodgers, a Cubs, a Yankees, rather than the Tampa Bay Rays or even the Diamondbacks as newer organizations. There's that. There's geographical, like at least the Arizona has that, right? We have that advantage. So it's like there are teams that have an advantage one way or another, but it shouldn't be just such a financial advantage for, a handful of teams. But again, it is one of those things that ownership, at least for the Diamondbacks, based on numbers we've received and Ken Kendrick saying it over and over again, are putting the money that they make off of this team back into it.
Totally.
And we see that with the investment in Corbin Burnes, which again shows that a team that doesn't, make nearly the money that the Dodgers do can still go out there and get the best free agent pitcher on the market. It's just like that was a huge move. And you can kind of see that from that point on, Mike Hazen was doing his best to kind of find, I guess, some deals rather than bargain bin shop a little bit more rather than go out and get any more big name free agents.
I guess just like where my main frustration comes in, and I know we've talked about this before, so I'll keep it short, but it's like you mention it. Ken Kendrick is spending on this team. He's spending at a higher rate than the Dodgers are spending on their team. From a percentage of revenue to payroll standpoint. And so it's infuriating when I have all these media talking heads telling me that it's my team's fault and my owner's fault for not paying. I'm like, our owner is in fact paying at a higher percentage than the Dodgers are.
Yeah.
And it's that, and it's the combo of that and just that, like, the Padres, they did try to spend against the Dodgers in the same division. And what did it lead to? A disaster of epic proportions, selling off everybody on their team. Like, teams cannot sustainably compete against the Dodgers like this as much as they try to. And that's infuriating to be told over and over again that it's the Padres and the Dodgers and the Giants' fault when those organizations are organizations that consistently go out there and try.
They try. They just, again, they can't spend and then also like make more money off of, like, it's almost like the Dodgers.
They don't have the Dodgers TV deal.
Yeah.
Never will.
Yeah. So, well, we have more to talk about, including how Geraldo Perdomo's deal impacts Jordan Lawlar and Nike finally admitting that they were wrong on their jerseys and their uniform stuff last year. Don't you guys go anywhere. This is the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, if you are looking for an edible to help improve your mood or maybe get some great sleep, we have a fine company for you in Pure Edibles from right here in Flagstaff, Arizona. Pure was created at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and is now made here in Phoenix. They are available in 130 dispensaries across the state, and they are not covered in sugar like all of their other competitors. I mean, edibles are great because you can absolutely get a wide variety, but some people don't want nearly the calories or sugar intake, and Pure can do that for you. They are a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, Kicks, which are their version of Starburst, chews, and hard candies, and their effects are clearly listed on each tin so you know exactly what you're getting, including some wonderful, like I said, mood elevating effects, or as some sleep time stuff. I'm a big believer in edibles helping me sleep, because not only do they help me get to sleep, they help me stay asleep, and that's my biggest problem is I have a hard time staying asleep. So
sometimes it helps me so much that I'll wake up with a cat scratch on my arm because my cats try to wake me up by scratching me. I just don't wake up.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Mine bites my human horn, which is what my wife calls it. That's my nose. So he comes up to me in the sleep, in the night, bites my. I sleep through it thanks to Pure Edibles. But go find yourself some Pure Edibles. Their products are available again in over 130 dispensaries in Arizona. Also, after you have some Pure Edibles, you might need some pizza. Go to Spinato's, which is a great place to go for Suns games. Spinato's wants to be the best place to watch Suns games with their Phoenix Suns watch parties. We all love the Suns. We wish they were doing better, but they are the official pizza of the Suns, and their watch parties feature not only the Phoenix Suns dancers, but the gorilla himself. So they're also doing fun stuff like a horse contest, but spelling pizza instead of horse. And giving out all sorts of fun prizes and having fun. So you can win free pizza for a year, tickets to the Suns game coming up on April 9th, and more. What's better than that? Free pizza, free tickets. Mark your calendar, Suns fans. The excitement starts at Spinato's. Get all the info on watch parties and pizza basketball contest at SpinatosPizzeria.com. That's Spinato's official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
The Suns gorilla is the best mascot in the NBA, right? And Garrett Stubbs, we obviously all know, is the best mascot in MLB.
I mean, he's
who do you think wins that battle? If we had to, I know it's different sports, but
are they actually fighting?
No. It's just in terms
of outperforming each other.
Because the Sun's gorilla would. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
he's a gorilla.
We know he'll rip his arms off.
Yeah, he'll rip his arms
like
off.
a Wookiee.
Yeah,
for sure.
but it's like I truly don't know who's a better mascot, respectively.
I'm gonna go with Orbit still. For the Astros. That's still my guess, but what do I know? I don't know much about mascots. I do know that the future is still very bright for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and thanks to Shady Rays, we know that we can protect our eyes from the future being so bright for this team. But today we are talking about the one and only Jordan Lawlar, because now that the Geraldo Perdomo deal has happened and Perdomo's future here is kind of secured as the starting shortstop, the big question I've seen it in the chat on a lot of people's minds is what happens with Jordan Lawlar now? And I think that's a reasonable question, but still not, I don't think it's anything to panic about. I do think that it makes Jordan Lawlar a bit more expendable, but for the foreseeable future, I do think that he can still be very valuable to this team.
Yeah, no, I think that obviously a lot of people earlier in the chat were like, "Is this make Jordan Lawlar a trade piece, or he should be on the trade block now?" And I don't really see it that way at all.
I think he's still too valuable, and his future is too valuable for this team. I mean,
but here's my thing, and we always talk about this. Me and Sean DePaz have wanted this since 2023 when we brought it up.
Yes,
but Ketel Marte should transition into more of a DH role as he gets older.
Yeah.
He's had some injury issues in his career. He isn't. I would say he's not the spryest. He had a good defensive season last year, no doubt, but he's not the spryest of up the middle defenders. Like, he doesn't exactly have the most range from that aspect. I could see a world where you have Jordan Lawlar and Perdomo as your up the middle combo, as your double play combo, and I think that's a world that I kind of want to live in.
Mike Hazen, aka Elise, says nothing happens with him now, so we know that that's the official position for the franchise, but. I mean, again,
his value's way too low right now to trade him, right?
You're absolutely
because
right.
I think the D-backs, they have a feeling of where he should be valued at. He didn't play all of last season, essentially.
Yeah, his sample size was far too small. He had 58 plate appearances in 2024 with the Reno Aces, but he killed it. I mean, he slashed 367, 439, 592 for a 1030 OPS. So he did great there. But again, small sample size. He did play in the Dominican Winter League for Lycée. He did all right. He slashed 237, 315, 355 for a 670 OPS. So not earth-shattering. He did play third base there for the Dominican Winter League at times. So there's that. There is the chance. I mean, for the foreseeable future, there's a good chance that what we see Jordan Lawlar doing is being a utility infielder for the Diamondbacks. And we know that Torey Lovullo kind of loves that. Like, Kevin Newman played a lot due to injury last year.
Yeah.
But again, there's no guarantee that the Diamondbacks won't need a utility infielder that can kind of go around and play shortstop, second, third. They talked about, what would be the most important position that utility infielder would play. And I believe Torey and Mike both said it would be shortstop. Like, that would be the primary function of that as a backup to Perdomo.
Yeah, no, I think that clearly that's the role, right? And you can't just predict injuries, but injuries will happen over the course of a season.
Yeah.
The D-backs got bit by an especially bad
2024.
Yeah, especially bad injury bug in 2024. And, if that was to happen again, Jordan Lawlar would receive a ton of at-bats.
Yeah.
So, Jacob Franklin put it in the chat on our Monday show that it's just going to be about Jordan Lawlar getting enough at-bats for his development to continue.
Right.
And that's totally the case, right? But
if he gets sent down to AAA,
he doesn't need the AAA at-bats. We've seen him in AAA.
The reason why, though, you could see that is to just stay playing every day.
For sure.
If it results in him riding the bench, at a major league level.
How much are we learning, though, from Jordan Lawlar being the best player in the PCL?
Well, and I mean, it's the PCL, right? So what? He's going to have a 700 slugging percentage with a 1300 OPS, and you're going to be like, what does this prove?
Here's what I like sending guys down to AAA for when they're slumping. Like a guy like Jake McCarthy or an Alec Thomas and saying, hey, go figure it out. And the easiest place to hit the baseball in the world. And then when you hit a few bombs and you start feeling confident again, we'll get you back up on this roster and have you contribute at the major league level.
But you know how baseball is, right? You know how important it is that you play every day. So if he does become just a backup and then he's not doing well in that role, then the failure, I guess if he gets into a slump, the slump can just be very hard to get out of because you're not getting a lot of playing time, right? So, I mean, I think really what it comes down to is that he's going to get an opportunity in spring training to impress. He's going to probably get a lot of reps to see what he can do, and he'll probably get reps at a lot of positions. They talked the other day about guys like Blaze Alexander, for instance, maybe getting some reps outside of his normal position and playing some center field or outfield, right? So it'll be interesting
for him.
It'll be interesting to see how this basically can make him a more versatile player and make him valuable to the major league club.
Right? Yeah, I mean, here's where I'm at with it. It's just I think you need Jordan Lawlar to, get as many at-bats as he can this season, I think at a major league level. But, that the upside of this baseball team is helped by Jordan Lawlar being on it rather than being off of it.
Yeah, the depth is incredible.
Yeah, it is. And that's like if Jordan Lawlar is truly good enough as a prospect, because, he's a highly touted prospect. He's one of the higher touted prospects in the history of the Diamondbacks organization, right?
Sure.
If he is truly that guy, he will earn his playing time.
It's true.
He will get at bats, and he will earn more at bats by performing at a level that provides that. Yeah, and that's the reality is, Derek. That's how good teams operate. That's how this isn't the Diamondbacks of old, where it's like, hey, we have 2 pitchers in our starting rotation that we know are going to be in the rotation. The final 3 are up for grabs. Maybe Archie Bradley can win one of these spots or something.
Maybe a reliever can convert to a starter. Who knows?
It's not those days anymore. The Diamondbacks have a set lineup. You look at every position, everything looks good up and down the roster.
And there's a lot of competition.
Yeah,
there's competition in the outfield. My guy Kingpin brings up platooning Lawlar at first. He says he's not sold on that position. There's that playing time too, right? Yeah,
have Naylor DH.
Yeah, Naylor DH. You can have Pavin play. You can have him play. There's a lot of versatility.
Depoto's probably on the phone trying to trade Julio for Lawlar, so I would just wait that out.
Okay, well that's fair. Fine. No, we can't wait. Any updates on Andres Munoz yet? No.
Andres Munoz is it's his. I actually personally locked him in T-Mobile. He's not allowed to leave.
Well, I guess where I was going with that is just that teams like the Braves, teams like the Dodgers that have good farm systems and have a ton of really high level players already on their team.
Yeah.
Their farm system players have to earn that playing time on their major league roster.
Very true.
The Diamondbacks, we want to ideally be in that circumstance. So Jordan Lawlar, it's up to you, man. You just gotta prove it to the Diamondbacks. Prove it to Torey Lovullo. Here's why I deserve more at bats, and I think that's kind of just where we're at with that.
Well, if he gets those more at bats, it might be in a better Nike uniform because Nike admitted their mistake. They admitted that what they did last year was wrong. They've apologized for what they did. And they're making the following changes. Larger numbers and letters for players' names on jerseys. One of the things we all hated. Individual tailoring on uniform pants instead of placing players into one of 4 preset fits. 4? They only had 4 preset fits?
That's
there
crazy.
are way more than 4 body types. Vladimir Guerrero will be one of the first ones to tell you that. Heavier fabric for road uniforms so you don't see their junk anymore. With home ones to follow in 2026. Better wicking on sweat on road grays, as well as improved color matching of gray pants and jerseys. Almost everything. And again, the whites hopefully will be not so see-through. That's the biggest thing. All of this is just perfect because it's in time. Oh, yeah, that one. This one I'm wearing right now. I still love this. Can I exchange it, though, for the new one is my biggest question. Just in time for the Diamondbacks New City Connect jerseys, which we will be getting word about during spring training, according to Derek Hall.
Nice.
There is word coming about the New City Connect jerseys. What do you want to see?
Purple.
Okay. Do you want to see? I want to see a vest.
I love a vest.
I mean, we just want the old school jersey. That's all we did. We're just pinstripes.
Here's what I'd like to see: a vest with purple sleeves, maybe some pinstripes down the middle,
maybe the 2001 World Series logo.
Yeah, sure. That's a good idea,
right? No, I mean that's exactly. I think that's what everybody says. Serpientes. Do you want the Serpientes gone? Is it time to get rid of Serpientes and move on?
I could live with another Serpientes style, get up. But
yeah, we've seen a lot of variations, right?
I could also live without it. I'm not too, I know this is very not Damon, but I'm not too opinionated on this one. On that one.
What about full Sedona red?
Okay. Full Sedona red?
No, I hate it.
Don't they already have that?
I hate it. It's gross. Oh, just
red
full.
pants.
Red on red? Oh, God, that's hideous sounding. I kind of want to see it, though.
What if they went the Mariners route and did red and then black pants?
Yeah, that looks
black pants.
Black pants might look pretty damn good with that outfit.
Because the Mariners had that blue old school Seattle, like really blue jersey and then black pants, and I was like, oh, and then like 5 games in, I'm like, yeah,
I like it. Well, we'll get a chance to see that here coming up soon, but of course we are out of time. We appreciate you guys so much for stopping by.
Can I say real quick? I did run across this list as we were live on the show. Top 10 GMs in baseball list.
Yeah.
No Mike Hazen.
Throw it in the trash.
Throw it in the trash. This is from MLB
Capoto's
Network.
not on there, right?
No. It is Andrew Friedman from the Dodgers, Anthopoulos from the Braves, then Neander from the Rays, Dombrowski from the Phillies, and Cashman from the Yankees is the top 5. Brian Cashman over Mike Hazen?
Gross.
What world am I living on?
I don't know. They didn't see the 2023 World Series, but we did, and I know you guys did. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. This maniac next to me is at Damon Dog. We are Damon's dogs. Me and this guy over here. It's Shane Deef on the ones and twos. You can follow him there at that Twitter handle. Of course, our show is at PHNX_D-backs. But What?
Oh, you said Shane Deef. I thought you were just like, that's Shane on the ones and twos. You can follow him, whatever his Twitter handle is.
Figure it out. Yeah, figure it out. Just like Kev when his was too long, you got to go figure that one out. But most importantly, all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Our show's at PHNX_D-backs. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Monday. Maybe see some of you out at Innings Fest. I'll be out in Mesa doing their baseball block party as well. So join me for that. Hope to see you guys. It's opening weekend for baseball. We got a baseball game on Friday. We'll be talking all about it next Monday. Can't wait to do so. Hope you guys have a wonderful week and weekend. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball's fun, but it's so much more fun when you lock Jerry P in for life.
We all silly like the mayor.